The late Mickey Mantle delighted in telling of his vision of his own death after a life spent largely having to sign his name on anything that held still and some things that did not. Our number 2 story on the countdown, former President Clinton can probably now empathize with the late baseball star. We are informed by impeccable sources that the infamous Chris Wallace sandbag interview of Mr. Clinton for Fox News last month has an untold punchline, which you will find hard to believe. But back to Mickey Mantle for just a moment. He liked to tell interviewers like me that he dreamt he had died, and to his shock, he had gone to heaven. St. Peter is waiting for me at the pearly gates, Mickey would say. And he tells me God wants to meet me. So he takes me to him, and I say, gee, God, I'm surprised I'm here the way I lived my life. And God says, well, I know all about that, and I'm sorry, but you can't stay. But I do have a favor to ask you before you go to the other place. And I say, Mantle continued, what's that, God? And God says, can you sign these 6 dozen baseballs before you go? If you somehow have not figured out the punchline yet, just bear with me a moment. You will recall that President Clinton's interview with Fox News was taped on September 22nd. In the weeks beforehand, in hopes of landing the interview, Fox's Chris Wallace had emailed the Clinton office transcripts of several on-air comments he had made in defense of Clinton relative to the ABC movie of the week, The Path to 9/11. Wallace also agreed to one ground rule that the Clinton folks asked for, that the interview be roughly half about the former president's charitable efforts, the Clinton Global Initiative. Instead, it turned almost immediately into an attempt to smack down Mr. Clinton about 9/11, an attempt in which the would-be smackdowner, Mr. Wallace, became the smackdownee.
Clark,
do you think you did enough, sir?
No, because I didn't get him.
Right.
But at least I tried. That's the difference in me and some, including all the right-wingers that are attacking me now. They ridicule me for trying. They had 8 months to try. They did not try. I tried. So I tried and failed. So you did Fox's bidding on this show. You did your nice little conservative hit job on me. What I want to know is...
I'm asking a question. You don't think that's a legitimate question?
No, it was a perfectly legitimate question, but I want to know how many people in the Bush administration you asked this question of.
Minutes after that verbal brawl that in retrospect seems to mark a turning point in the energizing of the Democrats in the 2006 campaign, after Mr. Clinton's righteous anger and Mr. Wallace's sputtering defense, as microphones were being detached and glares were being exchanged, Mr. Wallace turned to President Clinton and said, and we're paraphrasing, I know you probably won't want to do this, but I ask all of my guests, would you autograph my show's guest book? Yep. After that thing, Chris Wallace asked Bill Clinton for an autograph. And the punchline atop the punchline? President Clinton signed it graciously. Fox News, incidentally, had no comment on this story. We wish them well.